Today comes from a new look at Kenilworth Road. Luton, the hot favourites for relegation against Liverpool, the 7-4 favourites for the title. Luton, after 3 consecutive escapes from relegation on the last day of the season, are starting again on minimal resources under David Pleat. Survival and how long they can hold on to Kingsley Black are the main talking points. Here, Philip Gray, bought from Tottenham, starts his first game. Liverpool, under Graham Souness now, have lost to John Barnes and Mark Wright, and their injury list, which includes Rush and Mulby, is a long one. But when they can bring in Steve McManaman, the best teenager in the country, and £1.2 million signing Mark Walters, they haven't got too many problems. However, their record here is poor, but that was on the synthetic pitch. It's not synthetic anymore. Grass is back for the first time in 6 years, and it's looking good. And away supporters are back in numbers for the first time in 5 years. It's sounding noisy. So new grass, a new stand, a new strip. But the old problems for Luton Town after 10 consecutive years in the First Division. It's desperately important for them to keep up with the big clubs now and challenge for a place in the Super League. But there's a long way to go before they challenge for that, as Tanner puts it back to Bruce Grobbelaar. Referee today is John Moles from Erith in Kent. Won by Saunders. Then Beaumont, but only to Mark Walters. There's space here for Liverpool. Mark Walters couldn't get there. Can't blame the surface for that. Walters starting his first game. Second time he's been involved in £1 million transfers. Nice play by Brian Steen. Here's Pembridge. Kingsley Black is free over this side, and he finds him superbly. Black against Tanner. Cover from Houghton. It's a useful cross, but just too near to Bruce Grobbelaar. Good build-up all round there from Luton. A particularly good cross-field ball from Pembridge to Black, but the cross not quite good enough. Substitution then so early in the game for Liverpool. It's 24 minutes gone only, and Ronnie Whelan is coming off, the captain of the side, so their injury list continues. They have problems. He has to hand over the captaincy to Steve Nicol, and on comes Mike Marsh. Tanner with the throw for Liverpool. Houghton into McManaman. Tanner now with a bit of room if he wants to cross it. Changes it, and almost an error, but they've got so many players up as Burrows shoots and hits the rigging. What a great shot from way out. Probably 10, 15 yards outside the penalty area. Burrows hits a real corker with his left foot. Chamberlain flew across, but that ball hit the side of the post and away, and a let-off for Luton. Where we go then for the start of the second half, with Liverpool's Mike Marsh, their substitute after the 24th minute injury to Ronnie Whelan, getting it back, and had an influential first half certainly. And now Steve McManaman quickly in possession. Marsh in there supporting. McManaman trying to receive from Houghton. Nice play immediately from Liverpool here as McMahon gets forward, and Saunders puts it over the top, but the whistle had gone. Saunders put it over the top. Incredible how he managed to do that from that angle. McMahon was in there. It was a brilliant stop. Saunders should have buried it. Shaking his head, the player who missed a vital penalty, of course, at the Main Road during the week. Burrows' throw to Marsh. Steve McMahon's pass forward to McManaman. Just a little touch to Burrows. Back to Marsh, who's really been pulling the strings, and that's a ball well cut out by Pembridge. McDonough, Kingsley Black, and that looked like a foul. Steve McMahon very quick in there to stop it. Steve McMahon was stupid there. Philip Gray wasn't so clever to go down when armed, but McMahon put the arm on him. There was a little bit of pushing, but the swing of the arm was from McMahon, and I'm afraid he's paid the price. Well, that was bad play by the 30-year-old Liverpudlian. That was totally unnecessary. Now, you'll probably notice that there's a bit of an arm there, but the fall by Gray as a bit over-dramatic, but quite definitely the arm came out from McMahon very unnecessarily after some pushing, and he's gone. There's a bit of play acting, I think, from both sides, but right under the nose of the linesman. And here's Marsh. Oh, that was a brilliant shot and a brilliant save. Mike Marsh, the Liverpool substitute, has quite clearly been the most influential player in their side since he came on for Ronnie Whelan. And with a shot like that, that makes him the best striker with David Burrows in this game so far too. Darren McDonough under a bit of pressure from behind, tries to get one over the top again, straight to Kingsley Black. Ablett back out again. Darren McDonough in once more. Philip Gray beaten by Nicol. McManaman a nice little touch, and Burrows and Houghton, and Gray's in there, and here comes David Priest, and now it's Brian Steen, and Liverpool live dangerously but get it away, and Mike Marsh breaks. Dean Saunders holds it up, and they're off the hook. So it was a poor back pass. Gray was in there, but the goalkeeper had spotted it, and his long legs saved the situation. Black looking for Gray. Brian Steen. That's a good ball from the veteran Brian Steen to 20-year-old Mark Pembridge against Tanner. And the cross is a good one with Gray going in. Good effort. Tucked away in relief for corner by Nicky Tanner. With a lovely move from Luton, swinging down the right-hand side, then the left-hand side. Pembridge does well to beat Tanner. The deep cross, Gray comes in, difficult angle, and just wide. Kingsley Black trying to get Pembridge into the game because he's a real danger man. Switch to the left flank in this second half has caused problems. Basketball catch from Bruce. McManaman beats Priest easily, who thought he was going to get support from the defender Roger, but McManaman a brilliant run here. He's drawn them. He can finish it off. What a lovely run all the way from his own half. The 18-year-old bamboozles the defender Beaumont, and then just past the post and away from Dean Saunders. Well, you can see why they're not too bothered about not having Ian Rush at the moment. Substitution then for Liverpool. Ronnie Rosenthal, who almost signed for Luton, comes on. Off comes Mark Walters. Bruce Grovelar powers it away. Ronnie Rosenthal chases it. Rosenthal's in there! And it's in! No, it's cleared off the run by Graham Rogers. Steve McManaman's got to score, and it's blocked by Dave Beaumont, and Luton Town survived. Rosenthal should have scored in the first place. Graham Rogers did a brilliant job to retrieve that from under the bar, and then with McManaman looking as if he had an open goal, it was saved by Beaumont. Now, it bounced well. He got a hand to it, the goalkeeper, but the great save was by Graham Roger. And then the great tackle was by Dave Beaumont. And there is the final whistle. Not a classic, but certainly a much livelier second half here, with Dean Saunders surely regretting that he cost his side points with that blatant miss early in the second half. And a lively debut from Philip Gray, but he was involved in a bit of controversy with the sending off of Steve McMahon. But a point for Luton, valuable in the circumstances. They showed some good signs, but the 10 men of Liverpool with so many injuries came closest to winning it.
2 wins and 5 goals in 10 games. Luton, according to David Pleat, are making steady progress. 2 19-year-olds, one who's only 20 here. Trevor Peake is injured. For the first time, Philip Gray and Mick Harford play up front together. Notts County, newly returned to the First Division, have started reasonably well. 4 wins in 10 games. They're mid-table. The emphasis in this lineup is on defence, with more constructive players like Draper and Turner left on the bench. Well, in pouring rain, the Gray-Harford combination found County's tight man-for-man marking and extra cover very difficult to break down. But the main talking point in a frustrating first half was whether Mick Harford, coming in at the far post here, was illegally impeded. The corner floated beyond goalkeeper Cherry. Nobody better equipped for this situation than Mick Harford, but Craig Short in very close attendance. Was Harford fouled? Referee Jim Rushton from Stoke said no. And here, the very promising fullback Matthew Jackson was an inch or two away from getting on the end of this free kick, and very close to his first league goal. And the only time County caused any danger was through new signing Paul Rideout. He opens up the target well here, but Alec Chamberlain had it well covered. So 0-0 at half-time. The second half, however, was much more eventful.
Rideout knocks it into the path of Johnson, stabbed away into the path of Thomas. Oh, it's a good shot and a good save by Alec Chamberlain. So difficult in these conditions, zipping across the wet grass. This is way outside the area, perhaps too much time to set it up, but the goalkeeper had to get down very fast, and that's a good save. Now Luton pushing forward here. Can they make something of this? But of course County pulls so many players back into the penalty area. Roger has gone up there into a striking position with Rideout marking him. I just knocked it back to Harford, and it's a chip forward and off the post as a Gray went in. It was Dreher's chip that looked as if it was putting Gray into a perfect position, but it rebounds and Gray can't get it in. Substitution for Luton. Off comes Telfer, on comes Kerry Hughes. 9 months out of the game with a serious knee injury. He'd had a couple of very promising games under Jim Ryan. Now back here in difficult circumstances. Hughes bundled off it by Paris, gets a free kick, and immediately Hughes has brought a bit of life to this one. Knocked in for Gray. It's a poor clearance, and away goes Mark Pembridge. Can he get a good cross in? Harford! Oh, what a goal! Gray went for it, Harford went for it, but Gray, I think, will get the credit. Two players going for that wonderful cross from Mark Pembridge, and that was a first-class goal. Well, let's try to identify exactly who did it. It's Harford who's going to be there first, but Gray gets in with the header, and it's one Luton player competing with another Luton player. I think it's Gray. We'll have to wait and see. Double substitution here for Notts County.
Mickey!
Off come Christian Shaw and Kevin Bartlett, and on come Phil Turner and Mark Draper. And a lot more confidence now in this Luton side. Kerry Hughes, lovely play. Gray trying to set up Matthew Jackson, and Jackson has done well to get the cross in and hit the bar. Mark Pembridge. The linesman's flag was up for the infringement, incidentally. Gray does well there. Matthew Jackson does even better to get the ball forward. And the linesman's flag, in fact, had gone up, although that was a beautiful move with Pembridge denied by the bar. One by Short, picked up by Priest. Relay quickly by Harford to Gray, and was he held off? A lot of the supporters think he was, but the referee was right on top of it, said the defender acted quite legally. Now, a decent effort by Phil Turner. Whacked on the volley. They're certainly short of shots on target. So substitution here with Mick Harford coming off, having played a very valiant part in this Luton performance. And on comes Kurt Nogan. Nogan, another Welshman, along with Kerry Hughes on this right-hand side, picked up by Matthew Jackson. Nogan goes down the right, he's got pace here. Nogan might get behind him with Gray coming down the near post. Can he get it in? He brought down! And they looked towards the linesman whether it was a penalty or a corner, and it was a corner. Well, Nogan bursting away there, fresh legs. This is his first touch And could he have got the ball across earlier? Certainly had support. Decides to take it down to the line. And was he brought down? It looked to me as if he was. If the result stays as it is. Draper trying to get it through. And Turner's brought down. And it's a penalty. And Matthew Jackson tried to get at Phil Turner as he was played through and conceding a penalty. Well, here it comes. Turner was beautifully put through. It was a challenge from behind, and although Luton have been denied a couple of situations themselves, the referee had no hesitation on pointing straight to the spot. And it's Tommy Johnson who's going to take it. He's done very, very little in this game, but if he puts this one in with a couple of minutes left, this will be a very valuable part. Johnson, he scores. And Notts County have pulled one back. They hardly deserve it, but the penalty was beautifully put in, and they are delighted at least. So Johnson, confident, although he's had so little to do in this game, just inside the post, and it's 1-1. Turner and Draper working well together again. And a brilliant shot by Dean Thomas, and the goalkeeper really had to move to that one. The wind behind it, the rain pouring down still. That's a very difficult one, and the goalkeeper pushing that one wide. Paris puts it forward again. Turner's going to get behind that, and there in fact is the final whistle. And what a turnaround in the last few minutes after an excellent goal from Philip Gray and a fine performance from Luton Town in the second half. They were the better side, but a penalty conceded in the last 2 minutes, and Tommy Johnson wraps it in, and suddenly 2 points have gone. So the final score here on a miserable day, but an encouraging one for Luton, is Luton 1, Notts County 1.
I thought we coped very well with Notts County's passion, if that's what they call it. We were very disappointed, and I have to place it on record. I felt we were the victim of one or two awful decisions.
You meant that you should have had a couple of penalties?
I feel that in general I wasn't happy with the application of the laws of the games at times. I thought there was a couple of penalties, yes. I'm sure that Harvard was pulled down approaching that corner, and I'm sure that Gray was obstructed in the box, and I'm sure of one or two other incidents which I felt were mildly attacked by the officials. It would be wrong for me to blame them for the result. I didn't feel, although we dominated the game, that we made enough chances.
Philip, was it your goal or was it to McArthur's?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I thought I got the touch on it that took it in the net, but I have to see it. It's over.
What does Mick say?
Well, Mick came over to me and says good goal, but then in the changing room he says he thought he got the last touch. So I suppose we'll have to wait and see, but I thought I got the touch that took it their goal.
So a friendly dispute.
City versus Luton Town at Carrow Road. Well, Norwich are still without Ian Crook and Ian Culverhouse, but Paul Blades has passed the late fitness test, and Robert Fleck and Robert Allathorne have recovered from injury and illness as Norwich look for their first league win in 5 games. Luton's away record, 1 point and 1 goal scored. 23 goals conceded is bad enough, but now they're hit by injuries to Harford, Gray, Priest and Steen. So here it's 3 experienced players at the back and 7 young players, the oldest 21 in midfield and attack, including 19-year-old Scott Oates, who gets his first taste of First Division football. So Luton here fighting for scraps. The losing habit is worrying enough, but on top of that, economic pressures, major injury problems, continual team changes, young players thrown in at the deep end. This is a really testing time. Norwich can claim they've lost only 3 league matches this season. They've also won only 3. The points which have escaped them in drawn matches are pulling them down the table. The referee is Keith Hackett from Sheffield, who was in European duty in midweek. Rob Newman, a quick return to Mark Bowen. Newman again. Haven't really got a grip of it in midfield, in Norwich City. Indeed, they're facing so many blue shirts, it's difficult for them, but Phillips is working hard here to get involved. Fleck getting a return from Goss, and Fleck again, and Phillips, and Fleck again, they're in here! And a beautiful interception by Telford. Brilliant play. Lovely interchange of passes, and a superb interception by Telford. as Butterworth and Nogan compete there, and there's a free kick for Luton Town. An infringement by Ian Butterworth. And Scott Oakes looks as if he wants to get involved. Kerry Hughes is square, so too is Dreyer. They can drive it if it's rolled to the left-hand side as we look at it. Here goes Oakes. Oh, it's a good one! And how's that for his first free kick in the First Division? Scott Oakes, who's played only 6 times for Leicester City, is just 19 years of age, and this is a really talented kick. Beautifully struck. That was bending, and he was stretching. Rob Newman is in the penalty area. Fleck and Fox ducking and diving about. Fleck gets in there. Allarthorne turns it well. Good turn. Telfer can't get to him, and it hit the hand of Graham Rodger and went out. Robert Fleck says that should have been a penalty, but a very experienced referee says it's a corner. Good work though by Robert Allarthorne. Well, again with Butterworth and Newman on the edge of the area interchanging. There's problems here for Luton, and Fleck with the overhead kick straight into the arms of Alec Chamberlain. Just got a touch, the merest touch. He probably hit it too well. And here's Paul Telfer. That's not a bad cross. And here's Nogan. No, indeed, it was wide open there. Brilliant ball by Paul Telfer. No marking by Norwich. Nogan should have buried that one and put it wide. Goss very busy in midfield as Allarthorne goes down the left-hand side. Telfer tries to get at him. Allarthorne's done well. In for Fleck. Allarthorne's in there. The angle of the return not quite right for him. It dragged him a little bit wide of the target, and in turn his left foot shot was pulled past that far post. Dale Gordon to Rob Newman. They're queuing up on the edge of the area, marking tight. Goss under a little bit of pressure from Hughes. Phillips with Fleck going in here. Fleck's done a good job, and Fox has space, and Newman. And they were undone, Luton Town, on that flank by Robert Fleck, basically, but there was an error in defence to let them in, and Rob Newman strikes 3 minutes before the break. Well, a mistake there, I think it was Dreyer, and they were in trouble now. Fox lets it run. Newman has a big target to hit, and he beats Chamberlain comfortably. Round of applause from the crowd as Robert Allarthorne is carried off. So the substitute is Darren Beckford, who's got 3 goals in the last 4 games. Bowen, nice ball forward to Dale Gordon. He's got behind them here almost. Peake trying to keep him out while Luton regroup. Mark Bowen in there. Drives one, great shot! Well, they left him with a lot of room outside the penalty area. Dangerous for an attacking fullback with his thirst for goals. Beckford, nice little touch to Goss. They're getting through here, and there's space for Dale Gordon getting inside Linton. And Goss hits one. Good save from Alec Chamberlain. Well hit. Drags a few defenders to him, leaves space for the midfield man who hits it well, and the goalkeeper had to stretch to it. And another corner for Norwich City. They desperately need that second goal to ease the pressure and bury Luton. As Bowen gets in there, James gets it away, and Phillips, a brilliant first-time ball to Dale Gordon. Dale Gordon with a cross in, and he's doing well here. Butterworth, Pembridge, and they've picked up well here, Luton. Well, they're looking a bit vulnerable on that flank when Dale Gordon gets possession. Now, Phillips has been hitting some superb balls, and here's another good one to Fleck. Lovely stuff. Every time Phillips puts a long ball forward, there's danger for Luton Town, and that could easily have been the second goal. What a lovely ball onto the head of Robert Fleck. He couldn't knock it down past the goalkeeper, tried to get it over the top, didn't hit it quite right. Now here they come again, Robert Fleck. Can he go alone? Fox has gone on the right-hand side. And again it's Chamberlain. He's so busy now. And they're firing on all cylinders. Well, given space, nobody attacks him. There's players running to support him. He chooses to go alone. The goalkeeper a bit worried about that one. Dale Gordon's corner, and a good header, and again it was the goalkeeper stretching. Darren Beckford this time testing Alec Chamberlain. Leeds put under pressure, and away goes Nogan. Now he can run here. Phillips is onto him. Nogan chased. Nogan's still there, and he slips and he goes down. There's no penalty either. Nogan was in a very, very good opportunity there. Good position. The rebound even goes to him. He tries to swivel by his man. He slips. He falls. He thought he might go for a dive and a penalty. He gets nothing. Linton standing off him a long way, so Norwich City are really pushing it around the way they want. And Dale Gordon doesn't put this one in almost. Well, Norwich, well, perhaps a little bit unfortunate they didn't finish as well as they built up there, but it was certainly fortunate for Luton Town. They knocked it around Norwich with ease, with space. It was lucky for Luton in the end that the finish wasn't quite so positive. A lot of possession, bit of room for Norwich. Now Dale Gordon against one. Now Fleck. And again Alec Chamberlain saves the day. They take their time, they set it up, and there's a surprising amount of space as he hits it unchallenged, and Chamberlain just pushes it past the post. As Luton come looking for that equaliser. Oakes and Nogan, can he get by his man here? Nogan can dash forward, he goes down. There's some appeals for a penalty, but the referee turns away and the appeals quickly die down. Some encouragement for David Pleat and his side in the closing stages of the game. And there is the final whistle. Norwich City collect their 4th win of the season, their first league win in 5 games through Rob Newman's first half goal. They had a lot of pressure, they had a lot of shots, but for the brilliance of Alec Chamberlain it might have been more decisive. But for Luton, their 7th defeat away from home in 8 matches, but plenty of spirit, touches of skill, and they came on strong in the closing stages of this game. Perhaps an encouraging performance for them, although another defeat. The final score, Norwich 1, Luton 0.
And had a mistake there from Redmond, and it's done in Harford, and there's the first goal. Luton have it, Mick Harford. That's a dreadful error there by Steve Redmond. Well, the home crowd celebrate. Harford's pleased with that one, but questions to be asked of Steve Redmond, and no blame attached to Margetson. A terrible error. Played in again in Harford, and that's a great save from Margetson. He didn't have much time to react. Just a gentle poke towards the top corner, and a brilliant save from the keeper. Challenges coming in thick and fast, and City eventually have it, and up to Quinn. This is a good ball. It's breaking here for City, and Mexon's there. Square of him is Hughes. Poynton's on the outside. Hughes finds him. His cross. Looking in for the big boys, and Hughes and Quinn were there. It was Quinn's final header, but over the bar. The City today look distinctly stronger down the left than they do the right, and here they come again. Oh, this is good skill. This is a terrific move by Manchester City. It could fall here for Heath, it could come to Quinn, and Niall Quinn has put it wide. And only he will know how. Heath has peeled off to the left. Almost at half time, Adrian Heath inside. Helped on there, looking for Quinn, and again he's missed a good opportunity there, Niall Quinn. Kamara and Steen, they get us underway in the second half. Luton kicking from left to right. Megson, no, an early touch for him. He's trying to get his man away down the right-hand side. That looks like Adrian Heath. It's off him, it's away for a corner kick. And it's not a good clearance there, and it could come here for Quinn. And it's knocked in by Curl, and that could be the equaliser. And Luton have only themselves to blame because that was terrible defending. But in doing so, Keith Curl has got an injury to his head. He bravely put his head where no other man would. I think the goal will count. But Luton there, that was terrible defending. Well, Keith Curl happily is on his feet and recovered and credited with the goal. It's come to Steen. He gets the corner. Priest plays it into Telfer. And turned in there, and that has to be an own goal from Adrian Heath. Dreher was the man that got himself into the position. It has to be an own goal though. How did it go in from there? Finds Poynton. He in turn looks for Quinn, and Quinn's header is on there, and a good opportunity for Brightwell. Across the face it comes, and a brilliant drive in from Quinn. What an equaliser! Niall Quinn, that's all of 23 yards. He connected superbly. He won the original aerial challenge. Well found from Brightwell, and Chamberlain no chance from the resulting shot. It's worth seeing again. Just outside, and a top corner strike. Steen holds it up, nicely played through here. Here comes Pembridge. Pembridge down under the collision of Redmond. I think outside the area, but now then, what does John Key do here? The referee has gone for his card. I think it's a yellow. Redmond claims he's innocent. He is not. He is booked. That is a useful free kick for Luton. Taken in now, it's top corner, a great save there from Margetson. Still have it once more, Hughes. Still Hughes. It's a shot, and just a little touch there. Taking it away from the goal by the keeper. Means it's a corner kick to Manchester City. Good shot and a good piece of keeping. Crossing, looking for Quinn. Get it away. City still have it though with Poynton. He's looking for the return. Neil Poynton. Peter Reid will ask him to stay at full back. Chamberlain outside his area and almost making a terrible hash of that one. And he's done it again, and they'll tell Chamberlain not to bother turning up as a sweeper next week. And here's Harford, and he's beaten the keeper, and at both ends the keeper's out of their area. And both of them nearly embarrassed. Curl. Steen wins it back for Luton. Plays in Priest. Slips on the surface. Still Luton with it though. Telfer. His cross. Looking for Harford. And just over from Mick Harford. He arrived well, he just couldn't get the direction on it. And Luton come with Steen. Steen then outside the box. He goes down under the challenge. It's outside the box. It's a free kick. It's Steve Redmond. He's been booked already. It'll be harsh if he goes, I think. But I think he is. I think he's on his way. Well, it'll be worth another look. He's off. Redmond is not happy about that one. And City are down to 10 men. As the free kick is driven in now. And over the bar. And that's a terrible kick from Margetson. It could come to Steen. And the blushes of the keeper are spared. Across comes Oakes, looking for Telfer once more. Here is Telfer. And that's the game at its conclusion. It's Luton Town 2, Manchester City 2.
top. Well, Luton have now gone 13 games without a win. Goalkeeper Steve Sutton, on loan from Nottingham Forest, makes his home debut as manager David Pleat pins his survival hopes on a blend of youth and experience. Experience, that is, in the shape of players like Chris Kamara. This is a very special game for him. He was a Leeds player until just over a month ago, and he's added a real bite to the Luton midfield since his £160,000 move. Well, Leeds United come here on a high, top of Division 1. Howard Wilkinson was today named Manager of the Month. It's 7 wins and a draw in the past 8 games, including the 4-1 victory in the Rumbelows Cup at Everton in midweek. And the man that did most of the damage in that game, Rod Wallace. He scored twice, he had a hand in the other 2 at Goodison Park, and he clearly will pose a danger to Luton today. And it's Leeds to kick off. The form book suggesting a tough time for Luton, but they've battled hard and played some good football recently. With a bit of luck, they might just pull off a surprise. And the referee today, Mr. Paul Baines, a drawing office manager from Dudley in the Midlands. Speed, nicely done for Wallace, and turned inside to Chapman. McAllister's got space on the left, could cut in now. James needs to get across, McAllister in, and John Dreyer managed to get the ball clear, but that was a let-off for Luton. Well, Lee Chapman really carving open the Luton defence there with that ball to McAllister. Used his pace, got in well, and fortunately for Luton, it was John Dreyer on the far post, and not Rod Wallace. Harvey. Oaks inside for Harford again. Couldn't find Pembridge. Strachan looking for Wallace, and Peake should clear the danger, but he's been beaten. Maybe he should have put that one out straight away. Strachan's come again for the return ball. Tries to find Chapman. McAllister again from 25 yards. That's a great shot and a fantastic save from Steve Sutton. Well, McAllister's already tried one from just outside the box. That was high and wide. This time, though, nothing wrong with this shot, and a splendid save from Steve Sutton. And that could fall for Harford. It has fallen for Harford. A little touch, and a great save by Lukic. Well, the big kick from Sutton caused all kinds of problems there. Let's see it again. The bounce totally outfoxed the Leeds defenders. Harford stretched out a foot, just got the touch. It was going in until Lukic got the hand to the ball. Doriga again. Up for Chapman, gets the touch in. Can't get it clear. Batty tries one. That's a great effort from some 30 yards there from David Batty. A real fine shot. He had Steve Sutton struggling there because he really caught it well. Batty, first time, kept it low, and really not far wide of the mark. Kamara, Steen. Harford gets it to Telfer. But not the easiest of balls to control. James, Telfer. Well, Luton's playing some nice controlled football now, but just as I say that, Kamara puts it out for a throw. And it's all a little bit frustrating at the moment because both Luton and Leeds struggling to really find the telling ball. Nice one by Pembridge. Decides to go alone. He's got a chance now. No, was he pushed there? Luton fans seem to think so. Chris Fairclough says no, and more importantly, the referee said no. And to be fair, Pembridge didn't make much of a meal of it. And inside nicely for Pembridge. There's an opening here for Pembridge. Oh, it just wouldn't fall for Brian Steen. And it's out of play. Well, a clear opening there for Luton. And you have to say, perhaps they should have scored. Well, it was well worked. Tremendous little ball inside for Pembridge. Now, what does he do? Does he shoot or does he cross? Well, it's a cross, but just too strong for Brian Steen. And Leeds led off. A little bit more pattern about the game. Rod Wallace tries one on the volley. It's fallen for Dorigo. And it's a good save by Sutton. Not too much power, but he had to get round to it. Gary Speed, in fact, with the shot there. David Pleat calling the shots from the dugout. But more pressure here as Dorigo comes forward. Chapman again, this time with Harvey. And Wallace has got that chance there. Well, That was extremely well done by John Dreyer, because from where I'm sitting it looked as if the ball was going to fall perfectly for Rod Wallace. The cross in from Dorigo, up goes Chapman, Wallace in space, and the outstretched boot of John Dreyer coming to the rescue. Batty again, forced to play back to Dorigo, and Sterling with another chance. Over she goes, Chapman up there, well up by James that time. The danger not clear yet though. Wallace, can he work an opening here? He's got it to Whites. Luton try to organise the defence. Nice dummy, McAllister. And high over the top, fortunately for Luton. That's about the 4th time he's tried his luck from that distance. But some nice football there from Leeds. Tried to work the opening, a nice dummy there from Speed, and McAllister, well, he caught it well enough, but not on target. So Batty with the throw to Chapman, again gets the touch. There's danger there for Luton, and it's in, and it's Rod Wallace. 6 goals in 4 games now. We've not seen much of him all the game, but when it mattered, it counted. And it's that dangerous combination that's caused so many teams so many problems. Batty with the throw, Lee Chapman gets his head to it, and it falls just right for Rod Wallace. Another touch there, in fact, top left-hand corner. Sutton, no chance, 1-0. So that makes it now 6 goals in 5 games for Rod Wallace, the £1.6 million record signing for Leeds. Really finished well there. But now Pembridge with a chance to put Luton back on terms straight away. Telfer. Here's Kamara. And Leeds now with their tails up. Strachan motoring. Here's Wallace again. To Chapman. McAllister has made the run inside, and Batty in support as usual. Strachan, Batty's there in space. Well, nobody picked him up, but fortunately neither did Gordon Strachan. And that's fallen for Gary Speed. Can they make it 2-0? Yes! 2 goals in the space of a minute for Leeds United, and 2 classic finishes. Steve Sutton, well, there's nothing you can blame him for. Absolutely no chance with that. Superb shot on the right foot. Sterling with the ball in, and just watch this from Gary Speed. First touch was brilliant, the second was even better, and it's Luton 0, Leeds 2 now. And there's the man who's made it 2-0. And there's the First Division Manager of the month for November. Thoroughly delighted with the way things are going, a little smile there. His Leeds team will still be top of Division 1 this evening, unless Luton could do something akin to a miracle. And can Leeds really rub it in and grab a 3rd near the end? Here's Sterling. Batty still running as strong as he was at the start, comes in for the ball, return ball there to Strachan. 3 in the middle, 4 in the middle now. Up goes Chapman, knocks it back, great header, and sure enough it was Batty who was there with the final header. Maybe Batty really just doesn't stop working. Here's Prieston. Will he try one from there? Has to. Good save by Lukic. That's the best we've seen from Luton for some time in this half. Well, David Priest there, a gap opened up in front of him as he made ground, and not a bad effort. Good save from John Lukic. And there indeed is the final whistle. Another disappointing game for Luton Town. It's 14 games without a win for them. As for Leeds United, well, they stay top of Division 1. And there's the man who put them on the road to victory, Rodney Wallace, with his 6th goal in 5 games. Then just 90 seconds later, Gary Speed with a splendid finish, making it 2. Disappointment for Luton. Leeds go marching on. It's Luton Town 0, Leeds United 2.
Richard Harvey's chips unlocked their defence time and again. Mark Pembridge looked his creative best, and Mick Harford could have clinched an early lead. Chelsea's best chance came against the run of play, Steve Sutton having to save from both Kerry Dixon and his teammate Trevor Peake's knee. But next a goal to warm the heart of David Pleat, a perfectly worked free kick From fully 25 yards, Richard Harvey, the scorer. Now, the professional foul rule says if a player's brought down going for goal, it's a sending off offence. Pembridge down, penalty. But strangely, no sending off. And that despite Dave Besant arguing with both the referee and with the still wobbly Pembridge, whose innocent young ears have to be protected by Kamara's fingers. Besant claimed the Luton midfielder had dived, but still only earned a yellow card. His real punishment came with John Dreher's disco style and pinpoint finish. Luton on target to leave the bottom of Division 1. In the second half, a Chelsea team that cost £8 million were frustrated by an outfit who were bought in the sales, though Paul Elliott did go close. Now, professional foul incident 2. Paul Telfer pursued by Tom Boyd. Result, penalty number 2. Though Boyd says he took the ball, and this time there is a sending off, as well as a booking for the protesting Dennis Wise. And somehow, I don't think he was explaining that if Boyd deserved to go, then so too did Besant, though the goalkeeper did well to hold him back. Boyd off to run the taps while Pleat changed his penalty taker. Harford's effort stayed out, but it's still Luton's biggest win of the season, 2-0. Their wins come like London buses, not in 3 months, now 3 in a row.
Of the ground he knows well, standing in for the injured Brian Gunn. His penalty save helped keep Norwich in the FA Cup. He now faces the club he joined from home in Wales as a 17-year-old. He stayed only 10 months before being sold to Colchester. And playing against Mick Harford is likely to add to his first-team experience pretty quickly. Luton still without Phil Gray and Paul Telfer. They leave out Brian Steen and gamble on Kerry Hughes in a different role. They've got to start winning games and stop conceding goals and points in the closing minutes. Well, Norwich City, despite 2 consecutive wins, easing the pressure, make a handful of changes here. 2 young ones, Chris Sutton and Robert Allarthorne, arrested along with Rob Newman. In come in Culverhouse, Ian Butterworth and Rule Fox. The one constant factor, Robert Fleck, 16 goals already, which makes it his best scoring record in his 5 years at Norwich, with more to come. Time then very short for Luton and very much at the bottom. Though confidence not affected, they say, by a run of 4 consecutive defeats, but something like between 10 and 15 points lost in the last few minutes of games has put them in a perilous position. Norwich need self-confidence to get their game right, and they've had some erratic form recently. They've gone for experience here and looking for more of the old style away from home. The referee here is Peter Jones from Quorn in Leicestershire. Fox races on to this long one with Harvey in for Beckford. Beckford's done brilliantly. Good cross and put over the top by Trevor Peake. Good work by the wide man Fox and by Beckford, and Fleck would have been in on that one. Fox, Fleck. Forward through the middle goes Goss. He's offside though, but Fleck's taking it on his own. Clever stuff from Robert Fleck, and Beckford gets in there. Great tackle by Julian James, and Peake with some good defending gets it away. Lovely play though by Norwich City, and quick thinking by Robert Fleck, getting down that right hand side, the cross coming in, and great bit of defending by Julian James. Oakes trying to get it in first time. Julian James now has it. Butterworth can't quite get there. Up goes Pembridge. Butterworth again. Pembridge. Harford. A shot over the top. Oh, hit the bar. Mick Harford with a lob-come shot. And the former Luton player, Mark Walton, well beaten as he was off his line. And here they come again, Luton. Peake with the cross. Harford gets up. And heading it correctly back across the goal for the far post, and just too far. Certainly an excellent cross down that right hand side from Peake. A terrific far post header under pressure, but just beyond that far post. Pembridge caught out there, and Crook getting one behind Richard Harvey for Rule Fox again. Fox, and here's Williams. Rebounding over for a corner, but that could so easily have gone in. This time a very good cross from Rule Fox. A good header from Dave Phillips, but bodies covering and bouncing off John Dreyer, a corner only. Cherry Hughes up there in a striking position, unusual for him in the first team. Had a game in the reserves at the beginning of the week. Butterworth back in the side, clearing. Here's Richard Harvey driving it against Goss. Peak, nice ball forward to Mick Harford. Harford driving it in. What a great effort and a wonderful save from Mark Walton. Well, Harford was one of the heroes when Walton was here as a young lad, and of course I didn't see much of him in first team terms, in fact nothing of him, but that was a great save there. Forward by John Dreyer. Challenge there by Harford, and here goes Scott Oakes, and put over the bar. That was a good bit of defending as it happened. Now there was a powerful challenge there by Mick Harford. One or two of the Norwich players didn't really like it, but that was a cracking header. And away goes Scott Oakes. That's a clear chance, and it's good goalkeeping again. He stands up and makes the forward decide, and then over it goes. Phillips. Goss, that's a nice ball for Rule Fox. Fox again with a bit of space. It's 1 against 1 here. He goes for the cross. Phillips gets in, and here's Beckford. Bouncing away from the goalkeeper, and bodies lying around, and then cleared. Well, certainly a chance here as Royal Fox gets another good cross in. It breaks away to Darren Beckford. Goalkeeper comes out fast, blocks it, and John Dreyer gets it away gratefully. Phillips, Priest, Peak, and the ball for Scott Oakes to go for. Oakes quicker than Culverhouse, and again it's Walton to the rescue. The angle wasn't quite right for young Scott Oakes, who scored his first league goal last week against Sheffield Wednesday. The goalkeeper did the right thing. Certainly Culverhouse beaten for pace here. Lovely ball forward, but the goalkeeper once again to the rescue. Substitution now for Luton Town. Coming off is Chris Kamara, and coming on is Brian Steen. So midfield player for a striker. Brian Steen has played something like 25 games here, but he hasn't managed to score a goal on his return to Kenilworth Road. He could do with one now. Peak beats Fleck. Fox, Culverhouse. Fleck moving forward, trying to get behind Peak. He's covered it well. Crook, Beckford. Peak in there once more. Brian Steen intercepts Pembridge. Little ball to Scott Oakes. And what a ball in for Priest. Priest is in there on his left foot too. Norwich had a chance to get it clear, but they let David Priest in, and he has scored. 2 goals in a week. That's something for David Priest. It was a great move, a lovely ball forward from Scott Oakes, but when David Priest went through here, it looked as if Norwich captain Mark Bowen had got it closed down. Could he get it away? No, he couldn't. And on the left foot, deadly. 1-0. And now Norwich City, with a fairly moderate run away from home, are up against it. But of course, you've still got the last few minutes of the game where anything can happen when Luton are playing. Now it's Royal Fox getting in there fast. Fox is in a good position here to set up Beckford. Good save. Struck it well, hit the target, but the goalkeeper had it comfortably covered. Good play by Fox. The defence really opened up, but the goalkeeper kept cool and kept hold of it. It's breaking down a little bit too often for Luton, and Norwich are coming back into it. Fleck trying to turn against Trevor Peake. There's a free kick there. The ball rolled away from Peake, and he certainly held Robert Fleck, no doubt about that. Now it's Norwich City who are in a hurry, with 5 minutes of the game left. Luton leading by 1-0. Crook just getting some instructions from Mark Bowen. Understandably, every Luton player back defensively. What will Ian Crook do here? Goes for it. Butterworth gets in there. Such and Phillips and wide, and a goal kick. Daryl Such did well to knock that one back into the path of Dave Phillips, but he really didn't hit the shot cleanly. There were a lot of defenders coming at him, and understandable that they claimed for a corner, but they got nothing. Harford to Pembridge, looking for the second here. Harford! So easy! Harford at the beginning of it and right at the end. And this doesn't look like a side who is right at the bottom of the First Division. Norwich City really letting them through here, and the game now right out of their grasp. Pembridge does well. An easy touch for Mick Harford's 8th goal of the season, 2-0. And there's the final whistle. A valuable win for Luton Town. The breakthrough from David Priest after a fine move by Luton. And then in the closing minutes, Mick Harford, the valiant old warhorse, made it safe. It's a valuable win for Luton after 4 consecutive defeats. For Norwich City, it's now 6 consecutive away defeats for this reshuffled lineup. The final score is Luton Town 2, Norwich City 0.
I thought we were totally outplayed in the first half. Norwich played very, very well.
Luton are bracing themselves for another 11th hour battle to avoid the drop. They came from behind to beat Wimbledon 2-1 in a tense and at times bad-tempered struggle at Kenilworth Road. John Fashanu had given Wimbledon an early lead, but Luton forced their way back into the match after 27 minutes. Imre Varadi forcing the ball over the line for a goal on his debut. Varadi's just been signed on loan from Leeds, another example of how manager David Pleat has gone for experience as he attempts to stave off relegation. Another of the older heads, Mick Harford, could have given them the lead before half-time. The decisive goal eventually came after 64 minutes from David Priest. Wimbledon defender Warren Barton's embarrassing lapse giving Priest the opening. Some fine goalkeeping from Alec Chamberlain from David Priest. Wimbledon defender Warren Barton's embarrassing lapse giving Priest the opening. Some fine goalkeeping from Alec Chamberlain enabled Luton to hang on to all 3 points. They're still in big trouble, of course, but Pleat believes 3 wins and 2 draws from their last 6 league games could just save them. Luton 2.
Alec Chamberlain. The celebrations are low-key. Black-Nose defeat would be a massive setback to his old club. Pembridge kick-starts Luton's equaliser. David Priest keeps up the momentum. And Chris Kamara sets up Mick Harford, one of Pleat's striking golden oldies. Now Luton don't get too many goals from corners, but this one from fullback Julian James is worth waiting for. James silencing the sarcastic moaners. Now the manager's praying for a clincher. Header from Harford. It looks like Pleat's found the divine wavelength. A linesman slams the gate shut. Despite the conditions, I really enjoyed this one, watching 2 very honest sets of players. Sensible refereeing from Tom Fitzharris. Forest stage a great late recovery. Sheringham's effort just offside. Luton victorious, playing the Pleat way.
Kenilworth Road, Luton Town in their annual battle for survival against Manchester United in their chase for the championship. Luton's approach is to take each crisis as it comes. The escape route now they think is to catch Coventry with 4 games left. So they've added to their attacking options here, bringing back Scott Oates to help Imre Varadi and Mick Harford up front. And never has Mick Harford's aggression, leadership and goals been more important to Luton in their hour of need. Manchester United, 2 changes from the side which beat Southampton on Thursday. A lineup in stark contrast to Luton. A very strong defence, a lot of physically powerful players, a variety of outstanding forwards and tremendous depth of talent. Lee Sharp is in for Andrei Kanchelskis here, and there's a recall for... So it's Manchester United, Wembley winners last week, knowing the destiny of the First Division Championship is in their own hands. 2 points clear, a game in hand, and they've got 5 left. Luton, 2 wins out of the last 3. For the 4th consecutive year, they're battling to avoid relegation. The referee here is Martin Bodnam, by profession a guest house owner in Cornwall. Now here's Imre Varadi with Scott Oakes, the young winger, brought in to give him a bit of width and a little bit more aggression. Varadi shoots and over it goes. Varadi, of course, who started his career at Luton, was rejected as a schoolboy, has done the rounds and now on loan from Leeds. Doesn't get too many goals from outside the area, to be fair, but he's added a bit of forward strength. Town, a very good home record for a side right in the depths, but an appalling away record. They've got to do something here at Kenilworth Road. Parker didn't get hold of that one at all. In goes Harford, beaten by Pallister. Back out again to Pembridge from Priest. It's a good cross, but it's too deep. And Pallister almost puts it into his own net. He didn't need to intercept that one. They're looking a little bit jittery. The best defence in the First Division didn't look very happy with that. The driven cross, there was no need for him to go for it, but he sticks out a leg and he nearly causes acute embarrassment. So Kamara, Oakes lets it run to Pembridge, drives. Oh, he hit the bar. What a great idea from Luton. Mark Pembridge, the player they might well be losing at the end of the season because of financial problems. A beautiful idea, a lovely strike, and the goalkeeper really did. Kamara, Priest, Harford, and just intercepted by Pallister. Picked up by Richard Harvey against Webb. Harford again, turning it for Imre Varadi. Again, just whistling over the bar, and Kamara and other players going to the referee and saying that the goalkeeper touched that. Well, did he? Certainly a good drive, all's on the up. Was that a deflection? The referee's given a goal kick. And away goes Hughes, he's away from Peake. Hughes with the effort, Ryan Giggs can't quite get there. A stumble in the Luton. Trevor Peake looking for Mick Harford. Is it strong enough? It isn't. Kamara again. Under pressure from Webb. Appeals for handball. Looks a bit like it from here, I must say. Oakes. Oakes going. Sharp chasing him. Can he get a good crossing? Great play. Oakes with a cross. Harford. Harford again. Two attempts there. First of all by Varadi, then by Harford. And Manchester United survive. Just Harvey against Ryan Giggs, and it's Giggs, the tackler, against full. Harford getting in there. Away by Phelan. Julian James, and no offside. Area. A brilliant bit of play by Scott Oakes. Imre Varadi didn't get it cleanly, and Harford's shot was beaten down before Manchester United. Peake with Hughes. Oh, and a nice little touch on when he was falling in. Sharp with a chance to score here, and he does it. A fortunate break for Manchester United when Peake stumbled again. Great bit of play to put Sharp through, and he scores his first league goal of the season. Well, would you believe it? Luton doing most of the attacking. Sharp gets a little knock through, finishes beautifully. Cost a little bit in the first 20 minutes. Sharp finds Webb. Chipped in for Hughes. Holds off his man well. And wins a corner. Okay. Bruce gets up here. Well blocked by the goalkeeper, but really that was half an opening for Manchester. Bruce again knocks it back. That's a good one. It's away by Harvey. Bruce keeps it in. So dangerous at these set pieces. Sharp. McClare's still there. Hughes hits the post. Great strength from the two Manchester United players. McClare does well, then Hughes keeps going and stabs it against the post. It's a hard one for Pembridge. Very tight. Back to Priest. Try to get it into Mick Harford. Up he goes. Hits the bar. Harford. Mick Harford puts Luton Town back in it. The head waiter at the far post shows what tremendous aerial ability he has. And Luton equalise 6 minutes into the second half. David Priest's cross picking out Harford. Irwin can't get up, but that's a real power header. He beats the goalkeeper, but the bar saves it, but he's back in there quickly to pinch it. And it's 1-1. Giggs again. Past his man. And there's Mark Hughes. Knocked it back across the face of the goal when it might have been easier to knock it straight in. David Pleat animated. Can he see salvation? Plotting here, but the important thing is to get the big fellas in over the far side. And a good effort over the bar by John Dreyer. Well, there were two chances would have done, and then Dreyer with the left foot volley. Another substitution for Luton Town as Scott Oakes comes off. The 19-year-old gives way to a 32-year-old Brian Steen. The old veteran now. Steen needs a bit of help. James has got it. Brian Steen brilliantly done. James. Brian Steen's in here. Good save. Brian Steen couldn't get the rebound. Goalkeeper Schmeichel did brilliantly to get a hand to that. And Michael Phelan cleared gratefully for Manchester United. And Brian McClare, what a great bit of work. Finds Kanchelskis. He's fresh, he's got the speed. Pembridge is trying to close him down. But here's McClare. And trying to put it into the path of Sharp. And goalkeeper Alex Chamberlain did a great job. Alfred leaps with Pallister in a great contest. Webb with a hard game for him. The final whistle. Harford the equaliser with a great header and a rebound, putting Luton back in the game after Lee Sharp had given Manchester United the edge in the first half. A game of real passion and fire. Luton Town showing they're not dead and buried yet by any means. A point which is valuable to them, but probably in the end more valuable to Manchester United. The final score, Luton Town 1, Manchester United.
Were high as Luton took to the pitch at Meadow Lane. After all, they'd escaped relegation on the final day for the past 3 seasons, and as far as 5,000 travelling fans were concerned, this would be a fourth. It all started well enough, Luton very much on top. Mark Pembridge, the first to test Steve Cherry. News quickly filtered through that Coventry had gone behind at Villa. All Luton needed now was an early goal, and it came with 17 minutes gone from an unlikely source. Right back Julian James picking the perfect moment to double his goals tally for the season. So 1-0 and the scene was set for another dramatic escape, but Town, remember, hadn't. That was an early goal, and it came with 17 minutes gone from an unlikely source. Right back Julian James picking the perfect moment to double his goals tally for the season. So 1-0 and the scene was set for another dramatic escape, but Town, remember, hadn't won away from home all season, and Notts County, already relegated, seemed determined to drag Luton down with them. Tony Agana wasting a good chance. And as Luton failed to convert their early domination into further goals, County hit back. Alec Chamberlain in trouble with the free kick, off the line by John Dreyer, but Rob Matthews scored from the rebound. Matthews, a 21-year-old university student, making his league debut one to remember. 1-1, but at least by now Coventry were 2-0 down at Aston Villa. So at half-time, David Pleat and his team knew there was still all to play for, both here and just across the Midlands at Villa Park. It would be all ears to the radios for the next 45 minutes. Luton had to go for broke. Brian Steen, scorer of so many vital goals for the Hatters, searched for the lifeline. If that was frustrating, what happened next was sheer misery. Matthews struck again, this time a splendid shot curled round Chamberlain and into the far corner. Luton now had a mountain to climb. Still they battled on, still Steen tried to find a way past County's player of the season, Steve Cherry. Substitute Phil Gray was thrown into the fray near the end, hardly the best moment to return after 6 months out with injury. But this time there was to be no way back. Luton's Houdini touch had finally deserted them. For David Pleat, a disappointing end to a season fighting the odds, another year selling top players, trying to get the best out of a blend of old hands and young hopefuls, without the financial support any club with designs on a Premier League needs. Luton had played Russian roulette with their star players once too often. This time, the barrel was loaded.
Yeah, obviously devastated. It's the first time personally, on a personal note, that I've ever been relegated, and I'm sure it is for a few of the other lads, like, you know, and it's not a very nice feeling, but I suppose professionally it's the worst thing that could happen, but obviously there's other things that are important in life, and you've just got to put things into perspective, I think.
The truth is, if we can summarise it, we just haven't been quite good enough. Whether the youth hasn't been quite ready, or the older ones found it difficult towards the end. There's no excuses. We say well done Coventry. We say well done all those clubs really who just eased their way out of the mess during the season. We were in the mess at the start, and we looked as though we might escape, and we failed right in the last half of the last game.
No, it's not easy to have a smile on your face, but we came here, it was our cup final, we went 1-up, we were playing very well, and we blew it.
We've just lost a game of football that appears to most of them, I suppose, as though it's the biggest, most dramatic thing in their lives, and I hope it hurts them, but I hope it doesn't damage them.